Hi everyone, thanks for joining me for Coffee and Card at Home. So today we have made this card for the final week using the Happy Hedgehogs bundle, and you'll see that we've used quite a few of the bits from the stamp set as well as using the punch to punch out our little hedgehog at the bottom here. So we're going to make a start. I'm going to keep referring back to these just to show you the effect we're kind of after. So for the card base, I've used very vanilla, and we're just going to burnish the fold on that. So this is a C6 card base, which is half of an A4 sheet, and then scored at 10.5 centimetres. And then just to create the outside border, I have used the tree, but not used the bottom part, the trunk. So just using the leaves and the flowers. And we're going to stamp that with Memento black ink so that we can then colour that in afterwards. So I'm going to stamp off the edge. I'm going to try and fit my flowers together, so rotating my stamp a little bit to fit things in where I want them to go. But I'm leaving this centre free so that my sentiment can fit in there. And it's quite nice because this stamp works quite well. You can kind of nestle the shapes together quite well. I'm just turning my card round because I find it a little bit easier to do that. And then just hopefully can fit something in this last little section here. There we go. So we're going to continue with all of the stamping first. So now I'm going to take and put that to one side. I have got a strip of card which is also in very vanilla, and I think is, yes, 2 centimetres wide. I'm just going to take the black again. This time I'm using Happy Birthday, which is not from this set, but it's from the Artistically Inked set. I'm just going to stamp that in the middle of my card. Again, pop that out of the way. And then I'm just going to stamp the images of the animals now. So I'm using the largest hedgehog because he is the one that we can punch him out. And then 2 butterflies. Don't worry if they're upside down because we're going to cut these out later on. And then 1 of the birds. There we go. So those are all going to be coloured in. So I'm going to start off by colouring my animals in. I'm using crumb cake just for the base of the hedgehog, so for his main body part. And I'm using Stampin' marker pens, but you could use the blends or you could use watercolour pencils, whatever you are happiest with. And then I'm using, I think this is soft suede for his spikes. And then for the bird, I'm using Poppy Parade. So I'm going to make him into a robin. So You could use real reds. I'm just going to put a bit of soft suede on there, just for his wings at the back. And then this is just a little bit of basic grey for the rest of his body. Try and obviously go around his eye if you can. Then for the butterflies, I'm just using a bit of pumpkin pie around the outside there, and on a few other little bits. And a bit of crumb cake just to colour the body. That's the butterfly. And then I've got Daffodil Delight to colour in the rest of the butterfly. Okay, then I'm just going to pop a little bit of pumpkin pie in the centre of my flower, a little bit of pink just to pick up on those lines in my flower, and then a bit of granny apple green just for the stem and the leaf. And that is that finished. So now we need to go on to colouring in our background. And I will be honest, this does take some time. So I am being fairly quick at the moment to try and reduce the amount of time that you have to sit and watch me do this. But the leaves are coloured in with granny apple green. And actually sometimes just colouring in very quickly with a bit of colour on the image can actually look quite nice. There's quite a lot of cards about at the moment that have kind of been done almost a little bit like that. So rather than being completely precise, you can just pop a bit of colour just almost in the centre of the leaves and kind of just allow it to sort of spread out from there. But if you want to take your time and be a bit more precise, then obviously you can do that. Really depends how much time you've got and how much you love colouring in and what sort of effect you want to go for. And actually, if you decided to do this sort of with some watercolour pencils and then went over it with a blender pen, that would work really nicely actually. So there we go. Then just a little dab of pumpkin pie in the centres of my flowers. Again, just very quickly. And the inspiration for this card actually came from a tub of butter. So we have clover butter. And when I was washing up one of the tubs the other day to go in the recycling, I just saw the picture and I thought, that would be good for the card that I'm doing. So that's kind of where the inspiration came from. So I'm just going to go over those lines of the flower just with a little bit of pink. And again, this can be super quick, so it looks like one of those kind of variegated flowers where you get like the veins are coloured in and the flower's actually white or cream. And actually I quite like this being on the cream rather than white. I think it's got a nice feel about it. Sometimes we use like white a lot, and actually it's nice to have used a different colour here. So just quickly get that colour on. There we go. And that's the background done. So the next thing I'm going to do is I've just punched out a shape to put in the centre, just to give a little bit of extra depth to it. So I think this is from the So Lovely punch, but I will list it in the comments on the video for you. And I'm just going to glue that on with some Tombow in the centre of my card. I'm putting the straight edges at the sides, trying to make sure that's right in the middle. And then my sentiment, I'm going to cut it a little bit shorter, and then you can either leave it straight if you like, or you can flag the ends. So I'm just going to flag the ends on this. So in the middle, cut up as far as you'd like to go, and then cut from the corner to the top of that line. And then same on the other side, in the middle, corner to the top of the line, and then corner to the top of the line again. Okay, next thing we're going to do is get our animals cut out. So the hedgehog, because I've used the bigger one, he can actually be cut out with the punch. So just make sure you've got him lined up. You don't chop any of his spikes or anything off. And then that's him done. And then unfortunately for the other bits, we have got to fussy cut those. So I'm just going to quickly cut out my bird. The bird is probably the fiddliest. I'm just leaving that small white border around the edge of him, like the punch does. A bit fiddly around the flower. You could always cut the flower off if you didn't want him to be holding the flower in his beak as well. And just remember, the easiest way to do this is to try and keep your scissors straight and turn the image. And then cut a couple of butterflies just to cut out. And then once we've got all of this done, we're going to be ready to assemble. So when we assemble, we're going to put some dimensionals on these animals just to raise them up a little bit. You can just stick them down with Tombow if you prefer, but we're going to raise them up with dimensionals just to make them stand out a bit more. So I'm going to do the same with the sentiment as well. So I'm just going to stick 4 of those on the back, and then quickly get those pulled off, and then just line up your sentiment. Make sure your card's the right way around. Line up your sentiment there, and then a couple of dimensionals on the back of the hedgehog too. I'm going to pop him down in the corner. If you wanted to make it so that he's kind of half off the thing, you can, and then trim his legs off, up to you. And then sentiment on the body of the bird. You might just want to put a mini, sorry, not a sentiment, a dimensional, getting my words mixed up. You might just want to put a mini one on the flower that's sticking out so that it doesn't sink down when you attach it. I'm going to make him sort of look like he's balanced on the trees there, and then just one large dimensional on the back of the butterfly. I'll have a couple flying in. There we go, and that is then finished. So just a quick recap of what we've used. We used a very vanilla base, C6 size. We've used a punched out shade which is actually an old olive, and then a 2 centimetre strip of faux vanilla for the sentiment, some basic white to stamp our images on, and then we've used the tree to create our background, used the different animals and stamped those in Memento black ink and coloured with stamping markers. And that's kind of it really, just attach everything with dimensionals or Tombow, and that's everything done. So I'll just bring back the last couple of cards. You can see they're just a little bit different. So I will list all of those things in the comments on the video. If you need any help with anything, please drop me a message and let me know. If you'd like to order anything, please again drop me a message and let me know, and I can add that onto an order for you, or I can let you know how you can place your own order. And next month I will not be doing Zoom sessions, but I will be recording my videos and posting those as normal for you to follow along, and we will be using the Alphabest bundle, which is something a little bit different for next month. So I hope you'll join me to watch the videos next Monday when the first one will be out then. Okay, have a great week. Thanks for joining me. Take care. Bye.